There's a note in my desk that I've never thrown away. I've come close a couple of times, but I couldn't do it because every time I read it, it reminds me of who I decided to become. Let me take you back. Seventh grade, I'm standing in social studies class about to give a 5-minute speech of my favorite president. I didn't choose George Washington or Abraham Lincoln. I chose William Henry Harrison, not because he inspired me, but because he had the shortest presidency in United States history. Just 31 days. You see, I wasn't trying to give the best speech. I was just trying to survive it. Because I was a 12-year-old boy, a 12-year-old boy with a stutter. I walked up to the podium holding my 3 index cards. My heart was pounding. I looked out at my classmates and I started. William William Harrison. And just like that, I felt like every bit of oxygen left my body. I thought I heard someone laugh, so I stopped, sprinted back to my seat, just tried to disappear. I don't remember anyone actually making fun of me that day when I finished, but it didn't matter because the only voice that I heard was my own. And that voice said, "You're such a loser. No one wants to hear from you. You can't even say your name. Just be quiet." And for years, I listened. I avoided anything that required me to speak. I wouldn't even answer the telephone. And if I did, I would just say yes instead of hello. I'd spell my name instead of saying it out loud. One of our neighbors even told my parents that I was so rude because I called her by her first name and not her last. Not, it's not that I was rude. I just was terrified of what sounds would come out if I tried to say her last name. And that pattern followed me all the way through high school, beyond college, and into my teaching career. In my second year, I was asked to deliver a training for our staff, which I was really excited to do. I always wanted to lead professional development and help other teachers until I realized I would have to speak in front of 50 people. I made every excuse I could. I avoided that principal for a week. That scared 12-year-old boy, he was at the podium again. I called to tell my mentor. He was so happy for me because he knew my dream. But instead, I told him about my fears. What would people think of me? They heard me stutter. He was quiet and he said something I'll never forget. No one is thinking about you or your stutter except you. You have a gift. Go share it. I told the principal the next day that I would do it. She was so excited. And that afternoon, I found this note in my box. I opened it. Inside was an index card, and it said, "I believe in you." It was from the principal. You see, it was the first time I'd ever read those words before. I read that note 3 times, then once more. I started to think maybe that voice in my head, maybe it wasn't telling me the truth. I gave that training, and since then, I've led over 1,000 more. And I realized something recently. That problem, it was never my speech, it was never my stutter, it was my belief. And now, every time I step on stage, I still hear a voice, but now it sounds completely different. It reminds me that I have a voice that people need to hear. And it all started with those 4 simple words written on a note. I believe in you. So let me ask you, as educators, as leaders, as people who shape the lives every single day of our youth, who in your classroom, who on your team needs to hear those words from you? Because you never know when one voice, one moment, one note can change your life.